I'm taking a strap. I'm strapped up.
What's happening? What was that about?
Let's make the fight happen. We strapped the fuck up.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 117 of the SZN podcast. I'm your boy Kam.
I'm your boy Flowz.
And before we kick off the episode, let me do my usual plug of the socials. Guys, head over to our Instagram, SZN Podcast, or follow our Twitter, which is SZN Pod. Link in the bio on both of those platforms there, and that link will take you to where we're situated at streaming-wise, whether it's audio, Spotify, etc., or visuals, YouTube. Make sure you guys do that. Give us a like, subscribe, follow, all that good stuff. Flowz, another week, fresh off a rather heated pod last week. Let's see if we could be a bit more mellow this week. Who knows? You never know with boxing, right? We might just charge up suddenly. You never know. But yeah, man. Not much going on again. Last week we mentioned we mentioned Jaime Munguia last week about how he was in a nothing fight, but we also failed to mention that Anthony Yarde was also in action. As well. He fought yesterday. We didn't really touch upon it last week because what's to touch upon? One thing about Anthony Yarde, I think we said it on this pod before, Flowz, they're going to find a random European opponent from somewhere for him to fight, right? Yep. And yeah, I guess we'll start with Yarde. We can touch upon that. That's exactly what happened. They found a guy who I'd never even heard or seen of. I'm sure you're the same. Let me get his name right, at least. Let me do some justice there. Stefani Koykov, who they found for Yarde yesterday. This was basically just his Bulgarian opponent. This was basically just a keep busy fight because we've known for a while now that Anthony Yarde is mandatory for Beterbiev. So I guess, yeah, just keep busy fight for him because Yarde's last outing was, do you remember it, Flowz? Was it, it was Arthur, which was last year. So this is Yarde's first fight of the year. Ever since that big Arthur rematch, which you're thinking, that should springboard him into something. But he got that Arthur rematch, he won it, and that made him mandatory for Beterbiev. And I guess he's just been chilling, really waiting for that Beterbiev fight to be made. He's blasted this guy out in 3 rounds, as expected. Knockout was, I'm trying to remember if he dropped him previously in the previous rounds. I think he might have. I can't remember though. I just remember the knockout quite vividly. He battered him, dropped my man. This guy took a knee, didn't get up in time, and the referee called it, really. That was it. That was all she wrote. So not much to really talk about Flowz in terms of, unless you want to delve into his performance, but I'll be honest, there's nothing to say. From me anyways.
Yeah, it's hard to give so much credit for a win against a nobody. Let's be real. But Yarde looked good. Let's put that. He done what he needed to do. He picked some good shots. Looks powerful. But once again, I don't know where they found this dude. So
yeah. I guess the big talk was the after, didn't it? So
yeah, fresh
off the win, it was fully confirmed now. January 28th, 2023, at the OVO Wembley Arena, Anthony Yarde goes head to head with Artur Beterbiev. Beterbiev is putting 3 of his belts on the line, all of his belts. So he's got 3 of the belts at light heavy. And yeah, he'll be defending against Anthony Yarde, which is great fight on paper. Again, it's a fight that we knew was coming. Flowz, I think obviously I've made no secret. I've dropped hints in terms of how I think that fight's going. But when the time comes, let's give that a proper breakdown when it comes. There's no point saying anything now. But listeners, go back to the previous episodes. And I've really dropped what I think is going to happen with this one. So yeah, when that time comes, we'll break that down properly. But that's locked in now fully. At least it has a date now. It's got a date and venue. Good fight on paper. Let's put it that way. Good fight.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to get into the details of breaking it down, but once again, Yarde, the preparation is...
They've done it again. Yeah.
Like, you can't go through. And sitting on the...
Save it.
All right, yeah, you know what? Good fight.
Good fight on paper.
Yeah,
Great fight.
We're definitely rooting for Yarde, 100%.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. My goodness. Yeah, let's... Yeah, let's leave it at that.
Yeah, first we'll proper get into it because we have a lot to say on that one, and yeah, the path they've taken. But yeah, cool. That's in for next year. Good fight to look forward to for the first quarter of 2023.
Let me say this. Like this guy in terms of soup cans. Like I cook Golovkin, but Yarde had 25 fights, and only 3 of the fighters have wiki pages. Only 3 of them have
I knew you were gonna say that as well. Yeah. They be fighting. Like, I don't know. The pool that they pull for Yarde is crazy. I've never seen. It's almost like Wilder's. Remember Wilder's first 40 fights? Like the bulk of them didn't have wiki pages. It's like that. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yarde. Yeah. Anyway,
I don't want to call Yarde the light heavyweight version of Wilder, but there's parallels. There's parallels. But anyways, I don't disrespect my man that further because I don't rate Wilder at all, and I rate Yarde. So, but boy,
yeah,
there's parallels. Speaking of, I said random opponents and soup cans. Munguia over at middleweight, as we said last week, he was fighting someone who had 8 losses or whatever. I guess it's a keep busy fight for him. This is to be fair to Munguia, he's been active this year, as we said, but the level of opposition hasn't been what we wanted to see from him. He's similar to the Yarde fight. He blasted this guy out in 3 rounds. Similar kind of stoppage as well. Dropped the guy. I think he took a knee, right, Flowz, and he just didn't. You said he was shaking his head. The no mas.
Yeah, he went on it.
So yeah, another easy expected victory for a very, very good fighter. Again, I want to sort of zoom in on the sort of comments that Munguia made afterwards, because before, obviously, his last fight, he called out Charlo specifically, and obviously we said straight away that's never happening, bro. Never ever happening. So he's gone and said, obviously, it's a shame that he still wants Charlo, but it's a shame that he couldn't make that fight. But now he's called out Triple G. He said that if he said he's still looking to make the Charlo fight for next year, but if a Charlo fight doesn't happen, he said Cinco de Mayo, Triple G, let's get it on. So he wants Triple G. Again, Munguia, it's not happening. And I'll tell you why it's not happening. I'll tell you why. This isn't even on. This isn't even a politics kind of thing. The Charlo thing was politics. We knew that. But the Triple G thing is they're part of this. They're both the zone, so it should be easy. But the issue is Triple G. I don't know if you knew this, Flowz, but Triple G now has got 2 mandatories. With the fight in winning the belt from Murata, he's been slapped with 2 mandatories. So one of them is Erislandy Lara, who is the regular champ, the regular WBA champ.
Okay, yeah.
He's been sitting for a while actually waiting. But there's another one, undefeated Brazilian fighter called Falcao. I don't know if you're aware of him, Afro Flowz.
I've seen his name, but
he went to the Olympics. He went to the Olympics, I think 30 fights.
Okay, yeah. He's
got a brother as well, also signed to Golden Boy, who's also good, but I think he's lost once. But anyway, this Falcao, I think Esquiva Falcao. Let me get his name right, actually. Let me get him.
Yeah,
because he's
I recognize the name.
Yeah, he's actually pretty good. Yeah, I was right. Esquiva Falcao. So if I'm right, I believe he went to the Olympics. Yeah, got silver in London at middleweight in 2012.
Yeah.
Okay, World amateur bronze as well. 30 wins, 30 fights, 30 wins, 20 by KO. Obviously, no losses. So he's also been mandatory as well. So I think they're going to make that. I think he's Golden Boy, or I think he might be signed to Golden Boy, which means I think he's going to get the fight shot at Triple G first. And then there's Lara as well. So yeah, Triple G's got 2 mandatories to take care of. So, and obviously he can vacate, obviously, which makes it easier. But essentially, Mr. Munguia, that fight I think isn't going to be made for Cinco de Mayo. I don't, unless Triple G swerves his mandatories, it's difficult to make.
Question is, what makes the most business sense for Golovkin? I think
it's
this guy's never. He's never looked to you become undisputed.
Well, he says that's what he cares about, but to be fair, Flowz, I do believe he wants the undisputed thing.
Did he say that? He did say that after the Canelo fight that he wants to.
Yes, yeah. I do believe he actually does want the undisputed thing. Obviously, we know with boxing, it's easy for a fighter to say it, and it's harder to make because obviously politics, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, to answer your question in terms of what makes the most business sense for Triple G out of Munguia, Lara, and this Falcao guy, but definitely Munguia. Munguia is a bigger name out of the three. Lara's been around for longer, but he's not necessarily a draw like that. Whereas I think Munguia obviously has got the whole Mexico behind him. He's quite a big draw in Mexico. I think Munguia will make, in terms of like pay-per-view, or it's DAZN's a stream, but in terms of numbers, in terms of draw, probably say Munguia makes the most sense. But again, Flowz, mandatories are mandatories. Obviously, we've seen some fighters duck them, swerve out of them. Sometimes you might have to vacate, duck them. I don't know. But if Triple G obviously wants all the belts, he probably within his best interest to take care of his mandatories, so then he can then fight for the final belt.
Yeah.
Which is owned by Charlo. So as long as Charlo has that belt, I don't know about any unifications.
The one Dimitri vacated, and what's his name? The European brother Beck.
Yes.
Something. What's his surname?
Johnny Beck. Yeah. Alcon. Yeah. I know you're talking.
I can't remember how to pronounce his surname, but
Alim Kunali.
That's the one. He's got the
other one. Again, I remember, because I remember we said that could be a good fight for Kazakhstan because he's Kazakhstani. So that could be a good fight for Kazakhstan if that happens. But yeah, regardless, bottom line is Triple G's got mandatories to take care of. So Munguia, I don't know about Cinco de Mayo. I would love for that fight to be made. That's a great fight for Cinco de Mayo, but just the realism of it to me isn't that big, in my opinion.
Yeah, hopefully Jaime steps up because he's been chilling.
Brother, he had his chance. He was mandatory for Demetrius for time. He had his chance, and they kept swerving it.
Crazy.
So now the belts are tied up with Triple G, and maybe go chase the other Kazakh guy, maybe if you want to make a fight. But yeah, he had his chance, man. He had his chance, and he chilled. So that's his own fault. But yeah, good win for Munguia, good win for Anthony Yarde. We'll see what 2023 looks for both of them. That really was Yarde's first fight of the year. That is so funny. Another one to add to the list from last week.
You know what's funny with that? Remember, obviously, where Eddie Hearn was trying it. He was trying it. He said, why doesn't he fight Bolotniks?
Yeah.
Like, he's chilling.
He was goading him.
Yeah. And while it makes sense, like, you've got a title shot, there's no need to fight Bolotniks. At the same time, he had the point of, you're fighting the winner of Joe Smith Jr. and Beterbiev. Yeah. And that fight hasn't even been announced yet. They haven't even got a date for it at the time he was saying this.
Yeah.
It's like, why are you just going to wait around for the winner of that? And then they're going to fight in the middle of the year or sometime. And then you're going to fight at the end of the year we're in December.
To be honest, Flowz, playing devil's advocate, it is two ways of looking at it because, for example, look at Dillian Whyte's case where he lost to Povetkin and he lost position because of it. Some fighters and some people will say that, if you've got the title shot there, don't take the risk. Whilst other people look at it in terms of you've got the title shot, but keep staying sharp. Iron sharpens iron. You keep busy, you keep active, you can peak at the right time, as opposed to going to a title fight a bit rusty, or you haven't fought for a year and a half or whatever. So there are two ways of looking at it, to be fair.
I will say this: you can't compare Dillian Whyte's resume because he'd been in the fight. He was
fighting too many killers. Yeah,
he was fighting tough challenges, and then go to Yarde and say he hasn't been in there with any.
Yarde hasn't been tested. He's been knocking guys out in three rounds all the time. So,
and granted, if let's say, you don't want to take a dangerous test, you could have fought this guy. You could have fought two of these guys in that time.
Yeah, this is Yarde's first fight this year. Yeah.
You could have even said, let me jump on the undercard of Joe Smith Jr. and Beterbiev and fight anyone, fight someone.
I agree.
Could have done that.
Yeah.
But really, truly, you wanted to see him step up slightly. You could have fought someone nice and easy, beatable. But anyway.
Yeah. There's a way to look at it, I guess, finding that middle ground between maybe not overextending yourself and fighting someone that's too tough and then you lose position, or just finding someone too easy where you're not even getting the workout, you're not even getting tested, you're just knocking the guy out in free and walking him down, hands down, and it's just it being easy for you. So yeah, I guess it can be a bit tricky finding that middle ground. But yeah. We'll see. Like I said, we'll see next year when we do that. When we do the round, the preview for that, and what we think is going to happen, etc. And just Yarde and the decision that him and his team have made. Okay, Flowz. Let's head over to next week. Only one card to talk about, really. One card to shout about. It's not a beautiful card by any means, but it is what it is. It's here. Dillian Whyte is up against... Oh, Pig, I've just forgotten the guy's name. I had it in my head. Jermaine Franklin. Jermaine Franklin, yes. Yeah, I guess a comeback fight from Dillian Whyte since the Fury fight. So the Fury fight was top of the year, wasn't it?
Feb? Was it Feb?
Yeah,
oh, wait,
about Feb, March, I think it was, right? Around them times.
No, maybe even later. Maybe like June.
Okay.
June.
Was it June?
July?
Actually, it could have been, actually. Wait, let me prove.
I think it was like June, July, you know?
Why do I feel like it was top of the year?
Because it was just before AJ's fight. It was like a few, it was June, July.
April.
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 Yeah, because not. April, okay.
Yeah.
So has Fury fought since?
No.
Oh, no, he retired.
No.
He retired.
He retired, yeah.
Yes. I forgot my timeline. He retired, yeah.
So, Dillian Whyte, Jermaine Franklin. I think we already said how we mentioned it on this pod, how like from when you're the most notable name on your resume is Rydell Booker. That's kind of saying a lot. I went to this guy, Flowz. Have you seen this guy's last opponent? This opponent before he fought is in the opponent before this Whyte fight.
No, who was it?
Forget the name. This is what the record. The guy had 20 wins and 22 losses.
Yeah.
That's the last guy this guy fought. So that says it all. Obviously, this is the guy obviously I've seen this guy's name before, but I haven't seen him fight. But that says it all, man. Rydell Booker and a guy that's got more losses than wins. That's mad. So this is just literally okay, Whyte, just making the comeback. Here's an easy fight on your way back. Look good, knock this guy out. Just get a couple rounds in the bag and then do your thing. But Dillian Whyte should have way too much class for this guy. And it's a bit of a scary, scary sight if Whyte struggles against my man. Then he's going to have to look at himself, I can't lie, in terms of his career. But he really should be a simple night's work for Dillian Whyte, I'll be honest.
See, I'm not so sure. More because I think Whyte's susceptible to people look at him as a target now.
Ooh.
The uppercut done slept him a few times. We've seen the bottom of his shoes.
Red. He had the red bottoms.
We've seen his head bounce off the canvas. The victim of knockout of the year.
What, Flowz, you're saying that heavyweights looking at Dillian Whyte now as food?
They might be.
Damn.
They might just be.
Damn.
I think you can go into a Dillian Whyte fight, especially now, with a lot of confidence. As someone
is that because of the way? Is that because of the way Fury dealt with him?
But Povetkin's slept him. We've seen him touch the canvas against Joe Parker.
So the Povetkin thing, we agreed upon that it was probably, I wouldn't say lucky punch, but in essence it was lucky punch from Povetkin because he was getting beast up and Whyte got caught. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Parker, again, that's one of the ones where Whyte kind of had his way throughout the entire fight and was calmly winning the fight. And I guess you can say fatigue, conditioning got to him, and he got touched in the end. But it wasn't where he was looking scary like that. You know,
but that's the thing. You could be losing. You could be losing to Whyte.
Yeah,
and
you still get a chance.
Like Chisora gave him hell. Oscar Rivas put him down after he dominated Oscar Rivas.
Yeah,
you're looking at it thinking, I'm always in with a shot against this team.
Fair.
Now I'm not saying Jermaine Franklin's going to win now. But I'm saying Whyte
has a chance.
Whyte should make a statement with this dude and think, like you're not having any joy with me.
Yeah.
So I think it might be a tougher fight than
interesting
because I think Franklin will have a lot of confidence and will try and stick it on him.
Frankly, he's unbeaten to be fair, so he tasted defeat. It's the heavyweights, isn't it, Flo? So we know anything can happen in the heavyweights. Any punch can change the tide, whatever. Boy, that'll be peak. That'll be very peak. I think there will definitely calls for him to retire if he gets slumped by Jermaine Franklin. That's serious, Flowz. That is retirement calls. I can't even deny.
The Americans will kill him.
Yeah,
we'll be in trouble.
Well, we would be finished. They'll call us out for a reason. They'll invite us to all them clubhouse rooms. We can't even show our face. Boy, but yeah, anything can happen. I'm not expecting Whyte to go out badly, I still think he should be able to show his class and take this guy out. But if he does lose, I have to hold my hands up and say that maybe he should consider retirement, to be honest, because you can't be losing to Jermaine Franklin's. I'm sorry. Fury, I can understand. I can accept the Fury, even though he looked so bad against Fury, right? And got completely outclassed, outmatched. Like, I didn't think he would be. I knew, like, obviously, I thought Fury would win, but I didn't think Dillian Whyte would look like that. But it's Fury, so I can understand that Fury is that good, and he can do that to people. But losing Jermaine Franklin, that's inexcusable. I'll be honest, that is so inexcusable, Flowz. So, yeah, I hope Whyte doesn't get caught. Hope he takes this guy seriously and does a thoroughly professional job in there.
It is his first fight. He's linked up with Buddy McGirt.
Yes.
So that'll be interesting to see. Buddy McGirt, obviously, a very good coach.
We mentioned him before, how he's a great coach. Yeah. I'm intrigued to see how that works out. Yeah. And obviously there might be some growing pains with the new trainer. You know, we'll see how it works, but hopefully, fingers crossed, it's a good fit for both of them, and Whyte does his thing. Because I still think there's a bit more for Whyte to give, you know. Obviously, I don't think he ever beats the likes of Fury and stuff, but we still want to see him in the AJ rematch. We still want to see him versus Dillian Whyte, you know. So, against Deontay Wilder. We still want to see him against Deontay Wilder. So, yeah, there's still something out there for him. But obviously, if he's looking bad against Jermaine Franklin, then dead those fights. There's no point. So, yeah, we'll see. But apart from the main event not being particularly enticing, the actual the undercard is pretty good, isn't it, Flowz? There's some good fighters in the undercard. And I think, sticking with the heavyweights, the main one that caught my eye straight away was Fabio Wardley versus Nathan Gorman for the British heavyweight title. That's a really good fight, Flowz, on paper. Gorman he's slowly, I guess he's since the Dubois loss, I guess he's slowly been sort of rebuilding his career. And this is definitely like the biggest fight that he's had since the Dubois loss against Fabio Wardley, who is still undefeated, isn't he? Wardley. I think he stopped all his opponents by one. What do you think of Wardley, Flowz? Are you a fan? Do you see potential in him?
Who's the fight he was giving him hell? What's his name?
Molina.
Molina. It was giving him hell, and then he stopped him like 2 rounds.
Until Molina then I felt like took a dive or something. It was weird.
Yeah, took a dive. Who was the other one that that I thought took a dive? I keep thinking people take dives against Wardley, which is what's irritating me. Yeah, I'm not wholly sold on him. I don't think he's gonna make waves in the division. I'll be so real.
Yeah.
I don't think he might not even see a belt. But he can show me otherwise. I need to see more because he's stopping people that
he is
quicker than. But then to me, it's just not wholly convincing.
Yeah, he can lose this, you know.
He could, because Gorman's a boxer.
Gorman can box. Gorman's a good boxer, good technical boxer. I still remember that obviously the Gorman Dubois build up. Obviously, Gorman was, you know, he was bullish, saying his technical skills would be way too much for Dubois. And obviously, the power of the bar just told in the end and got him out there. But Gorman's a good fighter in terms of from a boxing standpoint. Definitely a better boxer for me than Wardley. Again, it's kind of similar, but in terms of Wardley's got the power edge, Gorman's got the boxing edge. But I don't see Wardley doesn't have that same explosiveness as Dubois. But it's still, it's a dangerous fight for both men, and they could both lose. So I might even say it's a 50-50, you know, Flowz. Because I've never been massively sold on Wardley either. Like, I've never really sung his praises. He's never really impressed me like that. He's beaten a bunch of soup cans and guys he should beat. But the Molina thing was a bit of a alarm bells for me, Flowz, because Molina's food. No, he is. I'm sure that's not the first time Molina's taken a dive either. But anyways, yeah.
There was someone else that I was like, nah, this is fake with Wardley. I can't remember who it was. I was like, nah, this is stupid.
I know he got Nick Webb out of there in one round.
Was it Nick? It might have been Nick Webb. Was he protesting or complaining?
I think so, actually. Yeah, I think it was. You know, I think it was Webb.
That was like a stupid win. I was like,
it was one round, but I think I remember that fight. Yeah.
That man, I didn't even want to be in there. Yes. So this is a good. I think this will be the test as such for me.
Do you prefer Fraser Clark to Wardley?
Fraser Clark's still a bit. How many fights he had? Five,
Five,
4, 5.
six. Yeah. 5, 6
Yeah.
maybe.
So yeah,
But obviously they're
I
trying
need
to
to
move
see
him
more.
quicker because he's older, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Fraser Clark looks good. I mean, he's got good at. Well, he started late, but he's got a decent amateur background in terms of. He's fought some people. He's lost to Joe Joyce like 5 times or something.
What?
Yeah,
Amateur?
3
Oh,
times.
okay.
I think.
Oh, was it? I didn't even know.
Yeah, yeah. I think they faced 3 times and he lost all 3. So that tells me all I need to know, really.
Hey, man. Hey, we've said it. Flowz, you have to. Joe Joyce is a problem still. We said it. So Joe Joyce.
But I'm saying that.
Yeah.
If Joe Joyce is
Giving you
besting
hell.
you at that level, and there's people like Usyk, Fury,
Yeah.
all them, man, and you can't get past the Joe Joyce.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't say these upcoming crop of UK heavyweights are anything to write home about, to be honest, Flowz. Because even for me, I've never, you haven't heard me big up Fraser Clark once on this pod so far. I haven't really bigged him up on him. He hasn't impressed me either.
I need to see more. Yeah.
So yeah, I need to see more from him. Wardley, what's it called? Your guy David Adelaide, bunch of them. I really.
What's that? Who's Johnny Fisher as well?
Yeah, he's only had he's only had a couple, wasn't it?
Yeah,
But yeah,
babies.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Like with AJ, you could see it kind of like, yeah, this guy's gonna go. You know what I mean? Like you can see, and so far I haven't seen it with these guys. Obviously, there's still time, as you said, they're babies, but it's not the best crop, I would say, at the moment, from what I can see. But yeah, yeah, good fight for both of them. 50-50 fight. We'll see what happens with that one. Also on the card, you got Richards, Craig Spider Richards, Spider, as you call him affectionately, just Spider. He's up against a former Whyte opponent in Ricard Bolotniks, Latvian guy, I think. Listeners, if you remember, we previewed that pod. We talked about that fight, how Bolotniks actually gave Whyte some problems before Whyte stopped him in the end. But he gave Whyte a few different looks, and yeah, troubled him a couple times. So yeah, good comeback fight for Spider against a good opponent we've seen before. We know can cause a bit of problems with his awkwardness. So yeah, this to me is a good comeback fight. This is how you do a comeback fight against a credible opponent that can give a couple problems, can give rounds out there, just to see how you can shake the rust off and shake off that L.
Craig Richards is doing it right. I'll be so real.
Mm-hmm.
He's always stepping into the fire. He's putting himself. He's really doing best, fighting the best, testing himself. Yeah, he's always stepped up, so I respect it. Tough loss he lost to Buatsi, spirited performance, and now he's stepping in with a Bolotniks, who is another credible opponent. He gave Buatsi hell as well before Buatsi stopped him. Buatsi had to dig deep to win that. I think he busted his eye.
11th, 12th round stoppage?
Yeah, it was late on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because Whyte thought he was going to get him out of there.
Early. And
emptied the tank.
Yeah.
And Bolotniks kind of fought back into it, and then he needed a second win to get him out of there, which was actually wasn't him who done Buatti's eye. It was the other dude who done Buatti's eye. What's his name?
Kalic.
Yeah, Kalic.
He was. We said we want to see more of that guy. I wonder what he's doing.
Yeah,
he was good.
They tucked him away after he gave Buatti out.
And he said, "Don't come back."
But yeah, Bolotniks showed a lot of heart as well and gave Buatti a lot of problems. So yeah, good comeback for Spider in terms of not going back to tune-ups and whatnot, stepping in there with another credible opponent who's ranked in like the top 10, I'm sure Bolotniks is, or in the top 15, I hope, anyway. So yeah, credit to Spider.
Yeah, definitely. Look forward to that one. Good fight. So yeah, 2 good undercard fights at least to take us into the main event. So yeah, I'll be tuned in. I'll be tuned in for that for that Dillian Whyte card. Should be good. Yeah, we'll see what happens there. Let's quickly touch upon, I guess, just what's been going on in boxing, especially one particular piece that we might as well discuss. That is the ongoing beef that's brewing between Eddie Hearn and Lawrence Okolie. Hearn's obviously come out recently with an interview, basically implying that they're taking Okolie to court. He's trying not to, but he's got no choice. Essentially, listeners, they're beefing over the fact that according to Hearn, Okolie's got one fight left on their deal on the deal that they have, the contract that they have. And Okolie, I guess, is saying that there's no fights, the fights are done. And Okolie's actually trying to jump ship now. I think he's trying to head over to, he's trying to leave Matchroom and 258 management and head over to Boxer and Sky Sports.
So he's left 258 management, I believe.
Okay, that's done now. Okay,
yeah, I think
so it's just the Matchroom thing now. That's the issue. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, essentially he's trying to jump ship to Boxer. And this has been brewing for a while actually, because I think the first initial signs of like discord between both of them was when Okolie sent out a bunch of tweets in June. I think it was June, July time. He did a tweet and delete, essentially implying that Eddie Hearn's a slave owner or slave master.
Remember, we spoke about it on the pod a while ago where we said he's looking to leave. Like we had that little scoop kind of thing, but yeah, carry on.
Yeah. So it's not a new thing. It's kind of been bubbling, but now it seems to have fully come out. They've both dropped interviews where they've basically shaded each other more or less. And yeah, man, it's a shame. Both points have been, both sides have been said, and I guess Flowz, from the Matchroom point of view, Hearn has clearly said that they've done a lot for Lawrence Okolie. They've really done right by him. They've pushed him. They said they will get him a title shot. They got him the title shot. They got him a title. And they've made him headline cards, all that kind of stuff, and they've really put him out there. And so I guess from Hearn's point of view, it's a lot of disloyalty. I guess with Lawrence, it's more of a case of, he feels like the time's done, the contract's over. He should have the right to go to where he wants now if he's a free agent. But I will say this, Flowz. Matchroom have tried by Okolie. I will say that. I do think Eddie Hearn is right there. Okolie is a fighter that we like a lot on this pod. We picked up a lot. Even when he was constantly getting bashed and getting pelted by his critiques, being the fans, the casual fans who call him boring, horrible to watch, always attacking his personality, etc., etc., etc. We've defended him on this pod because for reasons that you can go back and listen to. And even though he isn't the best draw, doesn't do the best numbers at all, Hearn and Matchroom are stuck by him, and they've put him on big shows, and they've even had him headline cards. So that part I do think is right, to be honest, Flowz, that Matchroom have really stuck by him and tried with him.
I can sense his frustrations in terms of he hasn't had a career-defining fight or like the opponents he's wanted, he hasn't entirely got. But I don't think that's fault of Matchroom's, because once again, when you're not a draw, they need to be able to put the money up as such, and there's no guarantee Okolie's like giving it that they backed him. They have backed him because after the Isaac Chamberlain fight, people were like, this guy's get this guy out of his thing.
And the other one, it was like Matty 2 or 3 back to back. Yeah,
Matty asking to follow. They were like boring stars, hugger, sleeper. People despise Okolie.
Yeah,
and we defended him. Said I famously said he's got a villainous style.
Yeah.
But it's not crowd pleasing, but he wins, and they've backed him because once again it's a business. We've seen Matchroom do this with a few fighters. If you're boring and you're not selling fighters, they bin you.
They dash you.
Yeah. They'll dash you. They will do that. And they haven't dashed him. They've backed him. They've tried to get in big fights, but it's hard when you're not a crowd draw yourself. It's kind of opportunities on the AJ's undercards and all this stuff. So they've done what they can with him. So I feel like there should be a bit more loyalty between them. So it's a sad state of affairs in that sense.
Yeah, man. Very, very sad. I wouldn't wish the court thing on anyone, really. I hope that they can solve it without having to go to court, but it seems like it's at that stage now. If they're saying that there's one fight left in the contract and he's saying he's not, the only way you can really solve that is via court proceeding, right, Flowz? So it's a shame. But yeah, Okolie's been looking to leave for a while now. I'm interested to see, obviously, if it does get sorted out and he does hop over to Boxer, if they're able to get the fights that he wants, he's able to do. We'll see. But yeah, of course, it's one of the things where we'll keep you guys updated in terms of what happens. But yeah, sad to see, because like I said, Matchroom have taken him from the moment they signed him straight after the Olympics, didn't they? Took him from that.
Yeah.
Took him from we got a bronze, I think. that took him from that.
He didn't medal. I don't think he.
Oh, he didn't even medal.
medal.
Sure? Oh,
he didn't medal.
Maybe
No, I
I
don't
said
think he
bronze.
medal.
Fair. Okay, fair.
That's why it's even funnier. My man didn't medal. So.
Cool. Taking him straight from the Olympics to world title, aspirated to the number 1 cruiserweight in the world, to be honest. And yeah, it's such a damn shame. But yeah, we'll keep you guys updated on that one. But yeah, keep an eye out. But yeah, man, I think we can call it a day there, Flowz. Yeah, another low-key episode. Hopefully we get some more action to review and preview for next week. But it's been, once again, episode 117 of the Strap Season Podcast. I've been your boy Kam.
I'm your boy Flowz.
And yeah, head over to the social media websites, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Peace.
You taking a strap? I'm strapped up.
7, what was that about?
Let's make the fight happen. We strapped the fuck up.